it got a little dicey there in the fourth quarter. I wasn't convinced I was going to be able to pop them, but they found a way. The defense stepped up on that last drive when they needed to and got that dub. So we were
Yeah,
popping bottles.
27-21. Miami with the ball. Had, I would say, the momentum in the second half
I mean,
after controlling the whole game. It did make you a little nervous on that last drive.
yeah, they had what 60 something yards of offense in the first half, and they finished the game with 342. So the second half adjustments by Miami's offense, I mean, they were moving the ball up and down the field on a really, really good IU defense. So they figured it out, and we were talking about it. It's like, earlier in the fourth quarter, instead of taking the field goal, Sig rolled the dice and went for it on 4th and 5, couple fourth downs. Had
Got
that
two on that drive.
that yeah, had 2 on the drive, had the called design QB draw with Mendoza, who made maybe the play of the year,
Yeah.
bouncing off tacklers and diving into the end zone. But, if you're going to go for it in that situation, you you got Miami on the ropes. They're out of timeouts with a minute and whatever was left, out of timeouts.
It was about a minute
Fourth
50. It was minute 47, I believe.
minute 47, 4th and 4. You have 4 yards and the national championship is yours. And they
Yep.
kicked the field goal in that situation. And you and I both agreed we thought they should have gone for it, especially the way that Sig had called the game earlier and the way that Miami was moving the ball. It's like I wasn't convinced, and you weren't convinced either, that 3 points to get that 6-point lead was going to get it done. So 4 yards to win the championship, they decided not to, and luckily it paid off. But I don't
No,
know.
in that case, especially after seeing him go for it twice
Yeah,
earlier,
yeah,
I was surprised. I was honestly surprised that they did bring out the field goal unit. And look, like I said, Miami did kind of have the momentum in the second half, and their offense was moving the ball. And whether you're up 3 or you're up 6, the other team's offense can still go win the game.
yeah.
And to me, being up 6 was not that big of an advantage of being over 3 to not take that shot on 4th down to try to just go ahead and win it right there.
I agree.
And it did surprise me a little bit because I think it kind of was not the mold of what we're used to seeing with Signetti. And look, and I know his thought process is, look, now they got to get a touchdown. A field goal doesn't send this to overtime. And I get that. But if you give me 4 yards to win a ship, and even if I don't get it, we're still up 3,
Yes,
and they've gotta go 80 yards,
yes.
and it's not a score a touchdown or nothing. They could kick a field goal on 4th down even if they get in that area, and then you still have a chance in overtime.
Correct.
It worked out. It worked out, but if they go down and score and get that and kick an extra point to win it, I I think you're regretting not going for it on 4th down for a
I agree.
long, long time.
And the one earlier in the fourth, he was gonna kick it and changed his mind and decided to go on the Mendoza touchdown. He had the field goal team running out there. The play clock was running out, so he called timeout and changed his mind. And I mean, it worked out on that one. So
It
I mean, I'm putting the ball. I would rather put the ball in the Heisman Trophy's winner to get me 4 yards and win that national title than risk Miami coming back, especially when Miami put up, like I said, almost 300 yards in the
yeah,
second half. Your defense was tired. They were allowing yards, and even on the last drive, they were moving it. They were moving it until
they were
Carson
moving
Beck
it.
until Carson Beck turned into Carson Beck finally at midnight. And
Well, he to be fair, he didn't throw the ball downfield a ton
no,
yesterday and hasn't really been asked to do that a lot in the playoff.
no,
And maybe that's something that you're relying on, the fact that, he's not throwing the ball downfield a ton. And if he does, he doesn't have the arm strength of some other quarterbacks, and it's gonna hang up there, and it's gonna get picked off.
yeah,
And that's what happened. But even on the play where Mendoza had the 4th and 5, the
mhm.
clock management and the timeout management was still a little bit odd with Sig. And even at the end of the half, where they kind of just
You thought they were going to run the
they,
ball and just go to halftime because they had the ball to start the second half, and they ran the ball, didn't call a timeout, and then all of a sudden they're starting to throw it. It's
yeah,
like,
and they
well,
get
if
it to
you're
the
going to do
50,
that, then
and you get it to the 50, and you have 2 timeouts, and there's really nothing you can do with it.
yeah,
So
it was odd. It was very odd.
so there were some moments, but the 4th and 5 by Mendoza, and Sig talked about this after the game, how they kinda thought that that play, that draw would work against the defense that Miami ran on 3rd down, and they were just banking
Right.
on the fact that they're gonna run that same
Same
defense,
defense, and they did.
and they did, and I'm telling we were watching it together, and I'm like, "He stopped. He stopped,"
There were 2
and
dudes right there. Yeah.
he bounced off tackles, and in every championship game or most, when it's a good game, there's a play that is just that iconic play that you're gonna see over and over again, and it reminds you a little bit of John Elway in the Super Bowl with the flip to get to the end zone. At least that's what it reminds me a little bit of, him
Yes.
just flipping and giving his all to get in the end zone, and, I mean, it was a Heisman moment for the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, and he won, the game's MVP. I mean, his stats weren't eye-popping. He didn't throw a touchdown, 186 yards, was 16 of 27, so he now has more incompletions than touchdowns finally in the playoff. But the guy that I thought really stood out and I thought won the game and was also deserving of that MVP was the plays that Charlie Becker was making. The 4th down conversion that they had was to him on the back shoulder, and then he made another outstanding back shoulder catch on a 3rd and I think it was like 3rd and 10, in the 4th quarter to keep the chains moving and the clock running before Miami started having to use their timeout. So, I mean, Charlie Becker in the second half of the season has just been an absolute monster. He had, I think, 6 catches through October, and all of a sudden in November,
Well
he's a monster.
well, Surratt got hurt in the Penn State game, and that's kinda
Yeah.
where his
Yeah.
coming out party was, but no, a lot of it was Miami's defense. They were getting pressure the entire game
Yes.
and really taking Indiana out of what they wanted to do in the passing game. They really didn't have a lot of opportunities to throw downfield, and, I mean, those back shoulders were about the only thing that was working, and Becker was they made unbelievable catches to continue some drives, and yeah, he deserves a ton of credit. I mean, without Becker, Mendoza's might not be the MVP because I don't know if they win the game.
Correct. That is correct. Yeah.
But on Miami's defense, though,
They played a
like
great game.
the pressure that they got the entire game, Mendoza was under duress the entire game. We both said last week that we thought if Indiana played the way that they've been playing, they're going to win by 20, 30 points. Maybe we underestimated the Miami defense a little bit because they did things that we hadn't seen since that first drive against Alabama where Mendoza got sacked 2 out of the first 3 plays,
Yeah.
and
They ended
they
with three sacks total, I think, on the game.
but even with just that, he was under pressure the entire game.
He was, and the IU plan of attack, I mean, it was a run-heavy attack. They ran the ball 45 times, compared to only 27 passing attempts, and, 45 carries for 131 yards, only 2.9 a carry, so, I mean, it wasn't much. They did give up a couple big chunk plays, a couple maybe a 20-yard they had a 20-yard run from Black and a 15-yarder from Hemby, but, the IU plan of attack was run it, run it, run it. So Mendoza, with especially with the pass rush, and I mean that Miami did a great job, I think, on stopping the run and the pass.
Yeah, but I will say to their credit, they ran the ball even more in the second half, and they just stuck with it. And there were a lot of times where they lost a couple yards on first down where it was be 2nd and 12, and they'd still run it on second down and be able to get 5, 6 yards to get back on schedule to where they have a
Yeah,
chance on third down.
yeah,
And I think that was a big part of the game.
yeah,
But I mean, Miami's defense, I think, just deserves a ton of credit. And
absolutely.
you knew Fletcher was going to make a play eventually. You knew Malachi Tony was going to make a play eventually,
Yes.
and they both did in the second half to give them a chance. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie. For a second, I thought Miami was going to figure out a way to pull this thing out. And then you're right, Beck just had to throw the ball downfield, and it hung up there a little bit, and it fell into the hands of Jamari Sharp.
Yeah, and I mean every time that, Miami, like after the Fletcher play and like they would draw close, IU had an answer. So like Miami, that Fletcher made it 10-7, and then IU has to have a big play. What do? They block the punt for a touchdown.
Which, yeah, we haven't even touched on that yet. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean
such a big play.
that put them right back up by 10, and then Miami starts the fourth quarter with a touchdown. It's back to a 3-point game, And that very next drive, Mendoza goes down. I mean, that was the play we were talking about. They go 12 plays and 75 yards, and once again, they're right back up by 10.
Yeah.
So every time that Miami cut it to that 3-point, score, that one-score game, Indiana needed a big play or a big drive, and their players stepped up to the occasion, and they made those plays that they needed to make.
And with the punt, I mean, that's their 8th blocked kick in 2
Yeah.
years,
Yeah,
and
crazy.
which is just a phenomenal stat.
Yes.
And the possession before, Malachi Tony tries to catch the ball at the 4, trying to make something happen. They get caught. He was tackled at the 5, and they go 3 and out. They punt on 4th. They punt on 4th and 1,
Yeah.
and then you get that block punt, and it just changes. I mean, you win by 6 and you get a block punt. Block punt's a big reason why you won the game.
That is a huge play, no doubt.
But just a couple, like, they talked a lot about Mendoza growing up, just a mile from Miami's campus. His dad was a teammate with Mario Cristobal. His mom played tennis at Miami,
Yeah.
and how him not getting offered a scholarship at Miami and the whole story. I mean, it's going to be a 30 for 30. But how about Jamari Sharp, too?
Yeah.
Also a Miami native. Also
Yes.
not offered a scholarship at Miami.
Yes.
The
Nice
nephew of Glenn
game-winning
Sharp.
pick.
The nephew of Glenn Sharp,
Who
who
was pass
had
interference.
the
Yes.
famous pass interference
Yes.
against Ohio State in 2002. Just a lot of connections there. Like, it wasn't just Miami playing at home. It was a lot of Indiana kids going back and
Yes.
playing in their hometown.
Yeah, no, a lot of good storylines in this game. And, just good for those kids. They weren't given the chance at the hometown school that, that they probably wanted to go to in Miami. They got passed over, and, they got their revenge last night.
Yeah, so I'm glad, like we both predicted, to be a 20, 30 point game. I'm glad it wasn't, because it was an entertaining game.
It was a very good game.
They so Indiana, obviously their first championship in school history. They entered the season with the most losses in FBS history with 715, and now they're national champions. They had 6 wins versus AP ranked teams this year. The previous record was 3. Under Signetti, their record when scoring 20 plus points is now 26-0.
Dang.
Their record when allowing 27 or fewer is 26-0. When they outrush opponents, they're 25-0. They're 2-2. The games where they don't outrush opponents.
Well, you throw these stats out, and Signetti's only lost 2 games?
2 games
Since he's been at IU.
Which
So
is-
there's going to be a lot of something in O's going on here, because he's only lost 2 games.
we continue. On that note, Indiana, 3 bowl wins this year. From 1899 to 2024, 3 bowl wins. Kirk Signetti has a .931 winning percentage. As you said, he just has those 2 losses. He has 3 bowl wins and 1 national title. All others have a .414 winning percentage, and as we just mentioned, those 3 bowl wins prior. Mendoza becomes the 5th quarterback in the BCS CFP era to win the Heisman and the national championship in the same season. Do you know the other 4?
Joe Burrow.
In 2019.
Wasn't it? Nebraska? Was it Eric Crouch, maybe, from Nebraska?
No, I think that was before the BCS era.
BCS era. Sorry. All right. So Joe Burrow. It's gonna be in Ohio. Did Troy Smith? Was he?
Nope.
Zeke
No
didn't
Ohio
win that.
State.
No Ohio State. No Ohio State. Alabama quarterback, right?
Nope.
Or not? I'm sorry. Oklahoma quarterback is what I meant.
Nope.
Oklahoma quarterback.
Nope.
Tim Tebow.
Nope.
What? Not even Tim Tebow?
Nope.
Dang.
You got
Mark Ingram?
No. It's no Alabama. You do have 1 SEC school, 1 ACC school, and then they were a Pac-12 school at the time.
1 ACC school. Clemson. Nobody from Clemson won a title or won the Heisman, though.
It's not Clemson. That's why.
Oh, Jameis Winston.
Jameis
Yep.
in
How about them?
2013.
One SEC school?
Yep.
And you said no Alabama.
And it's not Alabama.
Are we counting Texas in this or Oklahoma in this? Is it
No,
an
it was
SEC
an
school?
SEC school at the time.
Oh. Dude, this is hard. This is hard.
All right. 2010, Auburn,
Oh, Cam.
Cam. 2004, USC,
Reggie?
Matt Leinart.
Oh, Liner.
So it was the
Okay.
year after Reggie.
Okay.
But just so many stats. And what we learned yesterday, Indiana was the first-time champion since Florida in 1966. They said that on the broadcast. Really just an historic night. And do you think the party is still going at Kilroy's, at Nick's?
100%. Did you see they were lined up the night before, camped out in single-degree temperatures to get a spot in the bar at 11 a.m. when the bar opened? I mean, just the amount of time that you spend at the bar. So you get in at 11, you're probably not leaving until it closes at 2 or whatever it is. I mean, no. I mean, the scenes were absolutely on Kirkwood were absolutely electric. Dudes climbing on poles and light poles and trees and just massive amount of people in the middle of the street. And if there's one thing that IU knows, the students know what to do. They know how to party at IU.
Yep. Yeah.
You've
they
been
do.
there.
Yeah, they do.
You've dabbled in that scene before.
Kurt Signetti, one thing that he earned last night was a lifetime supply of beer from the Upland Brewery in Bloomington.
Lifetime beer. So does Kirk Signetti drink beer? He looks like more of a wine guy to me.
Did you watch the post game?
I was too busy drinking my own.
The
beverages.
first thing he says, they ask him how he's going to celebrate. I'm going to get me a beer. And then in the press conference, he said, that beer tastes pretty dang good. I wouldn't mind tasting another one. And by another one, he means doing all this again. But Hoosier Game Day Lager from Upland Brewery. He mentioned that by name in the post game.
I had 2 of those last night.
And he has landed lifetime supply.
Good for him. That might be. I mean, that's better than that might be a little bit better than any bonus in his contract. A lifetime supply.
Lifetime supply. And he says his favorite beer.
Good for Kurt.
Good night for Sig. And I hope we don't own a t-shirt company. We used to. We don't. I used to. We don't anymore. But have you seen anybody print the Sig Natty t-shirt yet? Is it?
I've not seen it. I've not seen it. It's a good idea though.
How much gear did you buy last night?
None yet. I haven't had time to get on and really look at it. Got to get some gear. Got to get some stuff for the basement. You know, maybe the Sports Illustrated cover where Mendoza's diving over the end zone looks pretty cool. That might look good on the wall down here. But we will get to that this week.
And before we move on, I'm going to give you one more stat.
Okay.
Best point differential in a season in the APO era.
Yeah.
The number one is the 2013 Florida State team. Their point differential was 553 points.
Okay.
Second, I would make you guess this, but it's 1944, and it's Randolph Field. Never heard of them. 489 points. Indiana ranks third all time with 479 point differential.
I mean, what was the average? It was over 20, I think. 27, somewhere in the 20s.
Have to do that divided by 16.
Incredible.
And look, that's why after saying, well, you kind of saying you were worried in the first 2 rounds when they're facing Alabama and Oregon, I think that's why we finally both had the gumption to be like, hey, if they do what they're going to do, they're going to win this thing by 2030. And I do think they didn't play an A game. I think they probably played a B plus game. And I thought Miami's defense played exceptional. Their offense didn't have an A game, but I we said Indiana didn't have to play their best game to win, and I kind of think that's what happened.
No, I agree. I mean, the Miami defense is a big part of that, but yeah, it was not their best, but it wasn't their worst. I mean, I think probably the Penn State game might have been their worst, and they still ended up winning that game. But no, I would agree with the B plus, and that was good enough to win.
And now they're running the portal, so just go do it again. But this is also the fact that a program like Indiana, who historically is the worst Power Four program in college football,
Yep,
the way that everything is designed now with the portal, with NIL, it allows something like this to happen.
it does. Yeah,
And look, there's a lot of negative things with everything that's going on. But the fact that a team like Indiana can come out of nowhere and hire a new coach and 2 years later make 2 runs to the tournament and then win the whole thing is a positive, because I do think people get tired of seeing Alabama, Ohio State
oh yeah,
every single year in the national title game, and I think it was refreshing to see Indiana play Miami, and I know Miami's an historical program, but they haven't been there in the last 20 or
right,
so years.
right. No, I mean it starts with fan support and donor support. You know, you got to get the money flowing in to get the players and the coaches, and you know it's been talked about a lot that Indiana has the largest living alumni base in the country. So when you got that kind of support and like those big of numbers behind you, you know it's possible to do something like this.
And now Mark Cuban has seen what Sig can do, and he's got the wallet
He's
open.
he's writing checks. He's writing checks. I'm surprised you
So
didn't pull out the fumble stat on IU. Did you hear about the fumble stat?
pull it out.
There
I,
one
I
only
provided like 20 something stats. You can
only
provide one.
one lost fumble on the entire season for IU. It happened in the first quarter of the first game.
Well, and
Never lost a fumble again. Longest streak in college football history, which is what, 15 games now? I think the previous was 12, is what I read. So,
I mean, just really, and they didn't turn the ball over in the postseason.
no, that's a big part of why they're national champions is they
Yeah.
take care of the football.
Well, and we've talked about it over and over again. They're just so fundamentally sound.
They are.
And maybe a lot of that has to do with the fact that their roster average age is the age of some of the youngest teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
But they didn't make mistakes, and neither did Miami until the last drive. And they had a chance there, and just ironic that Sharp would get the pick 20
Yep.
years after his uncle got called for pass interference against Ohio State. I mean, still one of the I still don't think it was a pass interference.
No.
And I
No.
haven't looked at it in forever, but I just remember seeing it when it happened.
Correct.
There was no way.
I agree. It was on 4th down, wasn't it? It would
Yeah.
have been the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No pass interference. I agree with you on that.
And when we transition to the NFL, we get to talk a little bit more about pass interference.
There were
But
some controversial ones.
there were. What just to put a bow on it, and we've mentioned this several times, just nothing like it in the history of sports.
That's,
There's nothing that you can compare this to.
no.
Eh,
It's one of the greatest sports stories of all time. Yeah.
And
Has anybody checked on Michael Irvin this morning?
they didn't show him as much as I thought they would last
Well,
night.
they weren't winning, so you're probably not going to show Michael Irvin when you're not winning.
Well, even
But
on like the
we need a
big
welfare. We
the
need a
big
welfare
run,
check
or
on Michael Irvin.
I just thought they would show him more.
Yeah. No.
But he definitely needs a welfare check.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had a nice little run, got a lot of pub out of it.
He did.
I think he's doing okay.
Yeah.
So Indiana Hoosiers are your 2026 national champions in football, and Indiana University has the last 2 teams to go undefeated in both college football and college hoops.
Yep.
Give